alongside the Norsemen in battle, giving them strength and courage, fighting alongside them. And if they died sword in hand, their gods would be there to bring them to Valhalla, to the afterlife. Such a death brought honour to family and village. Life and death for the Norsemen and their gods were intertwined. Other societies all over the world have lived close to their gods and heroes. Best known amongst them perhaps would be the Egyptians, or the Greeks, or the Romans. But it was much the same further afield, in every corner of the world, in the East and Far East, in thousands of indigenous tribes from Australia and the South Seas, to the savannas of Africa, to the rainforests of South America. Everywhere, tribal stories of gods and men were told. Stories that cemented their culture, their art, and their language, gave their lives meaning and purpose, and a sense of belonging. But in many, if not most, of these societies, their stories have been lost, as their languages were lost, as the societies themselves disappeared. Only when the oral tradition survived long enough against the centuries of invasion and disease and starvation to be retold again in print, do we know their stories today. All of the Norse myths and legends in this book have gone through an ever-changing metamorphosis since they were first told and then first written down. These are just the latest versions. The myths and legends they told and loved travelled the world wherever they conquered, and the Vikings conquered one of the greatest empires the world had ever seen, from modern-day Scandinavia into Russia and Britain and Ireland. They brought to Britain over a millennium ago the Norse myth that was the first to be written down in the Old English language. This was about 900 AD. No one knows who the author was, but it was called Beowulf, and thought of as the very first poem in the English language. That early adaptation of a Norse myth may well originally have been told amongst the first Viking raiders, who landed on Lindisfarne in the 8th century. It is more than likely that some of them might have originally brought the story of Beowulf over the seas to the English people they had conquered, who eventually came to know it and love it themselves, to adapt it into their own language, and in doing so made it their own. So, like Beowulf, the Norse myths and legends you will be hearing in this collection have been spread far and wide, like seeds in the wind, and are now read and known and loved the world over. They belong to us all now. They fascinate us and tell us of other times. Through them, we can discover other possibilities and other worlds. Enjoy them as I have. Live them as you hear them, and we can see deeper into the Viking world, and we can understand better what made them the people they were, and what makes us the people we are. Michael Morpurgo. The Aesir. A giant, a cow, and a hero. In the beginning of ages there lived a cow, whose breath was sweet, and whose milk was bitter. This cow was called Audhumla, and she lived all by herself on a frosty, misty plain, where there was nothing to be seen but heaps of snow and ice that piled strangely over and over one another. Far away to the north it was night, far away to the south it was day, but all around where Audhumla lay a cold, grey twilight reigned. Time passed until a giant came out of the dark north and lay down upon the ice near Audhumla. "You must let me drink of your milk," said the giant to the cow. And though her milk was bitter, he liked it very much, and for him it was easily good enough. After a little while, the cow looked all around her for something to eat, and she saw a few grains of salt sprinkled over the ice. So she licked the salt.